talk about movies and TV, music, books, or whatever strikes our fancy. Let's get excited, let's get weird, let's get foolish. Let's talk about movies and TV, music, books, or whatever strikes our fancy. Let's get excited, let's get weird, let's get weird, let's get foolish. Let's get foolish. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Howdy, gang, and welcome to another Friday Foolish. And I apologize in advance if I start talking loud or if I'm talking loud now. This here is still stopped up and causing me issues. So, yeah, it's been that way since I had COVID last. It's stopped up on and off. So everything sounds like I'm just, I just feel like I'm all clogged up. But I know I sent Candice the link earlier. She should be in here shortly. I may go check my phone, just make sure that she hasn't sent me any messages or anything. But I'm representing with the Candice or Dana and Candice meet Scooby and Shaggy, basically. Today, I think I had the Lethal Ladies Inc. shirt on maybe last time. I forgot to put our Lethal Ladies Inc. commercial in here. I do apologize for that. In fact, since we're waiting for Candice anyway, why don't I go ahead and play that for you guys and gals, just in case y'all are interested in seeing that. I think I may play the little bit longer one, just so y'all can enjoy that maybe.
They are lethal. They will take your breath away. They are ladies, artfully seductive, graphically sensual. They will assault your senses. They are incorporated. They will bend your mind, shatter your sanity, and seal your fate. Lethal Ladies Inc. Try us on for size. We will take your breath away. They're lethal. They will take your breath away. They are ladies, artfully seductive, graphically sensual. They will assault your senses. They are incorporated.
Okay, and I'm back. So let's get some housekeeping stuff out of the way. It doesn't look like anybody is in here just yet. I've seen someone pop in and out. I don't know if that was Candice trying to come in. Hopefully she's not having any technical difficulties. And I know we're kind of off our schedule. And I was a little late. Hey, the poet. I was a little late getting the promotion up, and I do apologize for that. I meant to get it up there earlier, but life happens. So I'll go ahead and get some housekeeping stuff out of the way just to give Candice a little more time to get in here and get prepared. The Totally Trivia is going to return a little bit later. And that's always going to be a lot of fun. And you guys and gals can feel free to join along and take guesses at the answers to the questions that me and Candice are going to pose to each other. But let's see what I got coming up this weekend. No watch-alongs this weekend, but next weekend we will have a couple. So y'all keep on voting for the watch-alongs if you want to have some say-so on what the movies are. There are 3 choices for each day, Saturday and Sunday. There's going to be a movie Munchies coming up. I was planning it this weekend, but I think it's going to have to be later on, maybe the last weekend of the month. I will get that out there for Children of the Cornbread Salad, so you can look forward to that. I've got to get one Soup and Jowls that I've been kind of sitting on. I need to get it out there, and I need to get another one filmed. There's also an unboxing from Steve for an item he received directly from Hammer in the UK, Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter. He will be unboxing his Beyond 4K Eye of Ebon set. And yes, we are both getting the eyeball set. Now, I'm not going to, people can call me crazy. I know we're married. We live in the same house. We could share the same stuff. But again, there are some movies that I just like so well that I like to have my own copy of. And The Beyond is one of those. Okay. Heck, maybe I don't want to share the eyeball, but all of that is coming up. I'm going to be having an Evil Dead Chicks excellent movie reviews here soon. I've been getting some things in that I can discuss. I'm thinking of a new series to do called a Versus series. I don't just want to call it Versus, but I'll call it something Versus, where I'm going to compare, like, for instance, Slumber Party Massacre films versus Sorority House Massacre films. Friday the 13th films versus Sleepaway Camp films. You can probably get the idea where I'm going with this, okay? So that will be coming up. Of course, some more Dick's Picks, some more cannon fodder in the next week. A rescheduled, they're all messed up, for Slaughter Hotel and the Zodiac Killer. Y'all been watching the hell out of the Jekyll and Hyde portfolio and 7 Murders for Scotland Yard. I don't know what the allure or the attraction was for that one, but thank you for all the views on that. I'm getting ever closer to one of my goals of having 1,000 subscribers. I'm up to 902. I'd like to keep those and gain some more. So if you haven't subscribed and you like the content that I'm putting out and that me and Candice are putting out, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, like these videos and streams that I'm doing. That costs you absolutely nothing. Tell your friends and family members that you think might enjoy the content I'm putting out. I would appreciate all of that so much. I'm checking my phone again just to, I'm not sure if maybe Candice is having some technical problems, or maybe she got put behind doing something. I don't really want to start Friday foolish without her, unless I just absolutely have to. But I can tell you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. You'll notice that it says April Fool's Day or April Fool's a day late and a dollar short. You've heard me say that many, many times for those of you that have watched a lot of my videos and streams, because I always feel like I'm a day late and a dollar short. And due to different things going on with me and Candice, we have been meaning to do this more towards the beginning of April, closer to April Fool's Day, actually. And, life happens and, we got behind a little bit. So that's why I'm calling this April Fool's a day late and a dollar short. We're going to be I'm going to be talking about three of my favorite April Fool's Day horror films. And I see Candice just popped on there. I'm going to be adding her in just a second. Um, One of the benefits of coming in a little late to a stream you're on with me is that I get all my BS out of the way before you come on, and that way you don't have to sit and listen to me talk for a long time. Um, so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to do like a little memoriam for Val Kilmer. We're going to talk a little bit about him, maybe talk about some of our favorite films that Val Kilmer was in. I know a couple right off the bat, and I'll save those for when we actually talk about it. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and add Candice. Hey, Candice.
Hello. I'm finally here.
Oh, wow. I love that back behind you. The Sammy Kerr thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's
Chris
cool.
got that at Horror Hound, and we got our friend Shay one because
Oh, yeah.
he loves,
Shay loves Sammy Kerr.
he sure does. Yeah. I think it's like his favorite album, like soundtrack. I think it might be his favorite movie as well.
Oh,
So we
cool.
had to get him one. But I didn't mean to be so late.
Oh,
I
no,
had
that's no
trouble.
problem.
I had trouble. I didn't want to be on my phone again. My phone died actually, so I couldn't be on it. So I had trouble getting into the computer with Facebook. So I actually had to eventually just give up, and now I'm on Chris's StreamYard. So I changed my name. So yeah,
Uh,
it says Candace there. I didn't want to come on here as Crater. So
well, you could have. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
yeah, is it what in the world?
Yeah,
Oh.
Candace is in. She's technically, I guess, she's in Crater Mania Studios there,
Yeah, yeah, I am. I'm in the layer here.
and I did want to show off. I mean, you can't tell much about him right now, but this is Poe. It's the start of
Oh,
Poe.
let me
I've
see, let me
actually,
see. Oh, yeah.
so
I
this is
love
his
that
head,
color.
of course, and I do have. I'll just show this off while I'm on here. I do have
Oh.
this material as well, and I want to make one. Steve's going to kill me, but I'm going to say, what the hey? I have the material already. It's not like I'm going to be buying any extra, but I'm thinking about making a couple of them because
Yeah.
I've got enough eyes and stuff like that that I could just go ahead and sew a couple of them up.
Can you
Uh,
hear me well? Do I sound okay?
yeah, you sound
Okay,
nice and clear.
good.
Your video's clear. Hopefully, you can hear me and
I can,
the
yeah. I got
video.
these earphones on, and I'm like, I don't know if it sounds good or not, so I better.
But I was telling everybody earlier, pardon me if I sound like I'm screaming at times. This ear is still
Is
stopped
it
up.
still stopped up? Yeah,
Yeah.
I know how that goes. And I can't hear myself inside these, so I might be screaming too because it sounds muffled. So I guess we're
Nah.
kind of in the same boat, but just in different
And the
things.
public's in here and he says you sound fine. So
Good.
as long as everybody can see Candace and hear Candace and I guess see and hear me, because the first time we did this after StreamYard did some kind of update to their stuff, people were telling me that they couldn't see Candace, and I was like, "What the heck? I can see
Yeah, that
Candace," but
I
it
don't
was
know
weird.
what happened there. That was really weird whenever that went on. So I don't know.
I blame StreamYard because it's okay if they do updates that make things better, but when they make things worse, and the amount I'm paying, I don't even want to say what I'm paying because I'm not getting like the free version. I ain't even getting the standard version. I'm getting more of the deluxe model with StreamYard. Steve would kill me if I said how much I was.
Oh, you
for
better
this
keep
birthday.
quiet then.
Yeah, because he could be watching this. You never know. He's in the bed right now. He was just wiped out when he got home from
Oh,
work.
working too hard. It's hard when you work and have to go do everything, I'm telling you.
Yeah. It seems like they have to work harder when the plant's in shutdown. The IT people have to work harder when the
Oh,
full
yeah.
plant's shut down than they do, when the workers are all there on the floor and stuff like that. I guess because they figure, oh, now's the time we can replace computers and we can do all this stuff because nobody's in their offices or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I guess we better. I see Chris tagged us in a post. So,
Yeah, I'm using his Facebook. That was me.
oh, okay, gotcha.
Uh,
That's right. Uh,
I'm running behind.
uh, no problem. So now I told Candace that she did not have to talk about April Fool's Day horror movies because Candace knows horror, but it's like she's not like me. She doesn't go like
No,
hold
I'm not
on
an
like
encyclopedia. No,
well, you're not like you don't pull out horror movies for every daggone
no.
holiday there is that I have horror movies for just about every
Yeah.
holiday there is, including Christmas, and my mom thinks that's just almost blasphemous that I'm watching slasher films around Christmas time.
That's
But
more of your and Chris's line of conversation is that kind of thing. No, I love horror. That's one of my favorite things was horror growing, but I'm not into it to where I'm like Dana or Chris or somebody like that. So I don't really the April's Fool. I know Chris has watched. He likes those
mhm.
films, but I don't think I've ever watched them.
Yeah, so the ones in particular I'm going to be talking about, and I'll just show them, is April Fool's Day from
Hmm.
1986. I remember, I'll talk a little bit more about this when we actually get to talk about, but I remember this cover, this VHS cover in the video store. I was
Me
like,
too.
there's no way I'm not renting this. I mean, just that cover alone. This one too for Slaughter
No,
High.
I love Slaughter High. That's one of my
Mhm.
favorite horror movies, is Slaughter High.
Well,
So
you can add
I
some
can.
additional things if you want to. And this is one that I was late to the game on watching. It's also from the 80s, Killer Party.
I remember that movie. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I remember that cover there.
And that one's from 1986 as well, I believe. Um, but we'll get to those here in just a few minutes. Um, but I did tell Candace, I said, if you don't want to talk about those, I said, you may have non horror movies that have an April Fool's Day theme or a spring theme or,
Yeah.
something like that.
Because I didn't. To be honest with you, I'd forgotten. I even told Dana, I said I've forgotten what we supposed to be talking about this coming Friday. But I'll pull some stuff out. I'm sure.
Oh, I know. I have no doubts that Candace will have something she can talk about. But um, is there, before we get into this, Candace, is there any, kind of updates or anything that you wanted to give, like with your stuff you sell or anything like that?
Well, that stuff hopefully will take a resurgence whenever I get everything ready to be able to do it. I don't have a place to do all that stuff yet, but once
Candace is kind of in flux right now.
yeah, right now it's kind of up in the air where everything's going to be, but it's getting closer. We've got storage building now. I mean, Dana knows that, so stuff is getting more falling more into place, I guess I can say. So I can start doing my stuff again, and I'm sure Dana will appreciate that whenever I get her dolls to her.
Oh, I'm just as excited as can be. I don't care when I get them. I'm going to be excited about because Candace is, other than my cousin Heather, Candace is the most artistic person that I know.
I appreciate that, Dana.
And
Yeah.
I'm just so excited. Like I've always said, I'm better at the writing side of things than I am like actually. being able to craft something. That's why it's taken me
No.
so daggone long with
That's not
clothes.
true. That's not true at all. I mean, everything that you do, like from your shirts, all that's crafts. All that is talent. It takes that to be able to make candles and stuff like that. It's it's fun, but it's also a talent. You have to know what you're doing. So I don't believe that. I think you can do whatever. I mean, you're tackling that pole, so I mean,
Oh,
if you got that, there, then you're doing good. I mean, some people wouldn't even be able to do what you're doing right there, Dana. So. But I do have a little update on your doll,
awesome.
um, if
Okay.
that is something that you wanna know. So, um, when I was making your doll, I was using polymer clay
Mhm,
and, like, Sculpey, and, I said, "This is just too darn heavy," because I've always made dolls like that, but
mm,
where it's Bruce Campbell and he's got a lot of muscles and stuff like that. I said, I'm just going to make a plaster cast of this and cast this and
mm.
make it lighter. So I actually bought the stuff to do that with.
Ah,
So
good.
I'm going to go about it a different way. And I think he's going to be more, you'll be able to pose him better and be able to display him better. And he's not going to be like 1,000 pounds or anything like that. So I bought all that stuff to do that. I bought resin and I
Mhm.
bought, the stuff to make the molds with. So I'm excited to do that, and, hope it's my first time, and I'm gonna do it on that, so fingers crossed that I know what I'm doing and then I I get past it.
Well, I do have an update on the shop. I don't know how many of y'all, excuse me, have been on the shop lately, but I've been promising new designs. So I do have a couple of new designs on there, maybe three. I've got one of the Lethal Ladies Incorporated or Lethal Ladies Inc. new designs. It's the vintage, like comic version. Um, I've got one of Poe up, I think, and one Evil Dead Chicken Poe. So if y'all haven't been on over to deaditesondeck.com lately, you might want to hop on over there and check out those new designs. $20 will get you a shirt with one of those designs on it. And I'm extending the promos because my site was down for a little bit due to a domain issue that was my fault because I didn't renew my domain. So I take full responsibility for that. But you can use the promo code Candle Craze 25. You can buy one candle, get one free. Also, you can use Slasher Spring 25 and get $10 off an order of $30 or more. So keep in mind you can do both of those things, and there's lots of cool stuff. There's more cool stuff coming. So that's my update on the.
Custom shirts, tote bags, whatever you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, I do custom work, as Candice just said. I'm glad she keeps reminding me of that because sometimes I forget to say, "Hey, I do custom work."
Oh,
All you,
yeah, you always let people know that because that's what that catches people's interest. It did
yes,
mine.
and I've done plenty of custom work for
Oh,
Candice.
yeah, definitely.
So, and you can just ask her how the product turned out,
It
Candice.
turned out great. I mean, we wear them all the time, wash them, and they still look like brand new. So it's good quality stuff. I mean, Dana's got the real stuff. It's not something that's going to peel off or something's going to crumple up in the washer and shrink down to a miniature size or something. I've had that happen. I've bought those like transfers for my shirts. I
Yeah,
put them on, they've shrunk down. This is like real ink that's in these shirts, like Dana's got
yeah.
on there. So it's just
Yeah,
like something you'd
it's
buy at the
you can't
store.
even feel it. I mean,
No, no.
just like this shirt I have on now, it's sublimation ink, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what it does. It sinks into the shirt itself.
Yeah, it's not something that's on the shirt, it's something that it's ink that actually goes into the shirt. So it's the real stuff and it washes, it does good. So and we're rough on our stuff. We don't do stuff on delicate or anything like that. So if it survived us, then it's good. So
Well, I did learn, and thankfully it was just on shirts that I did for myself and not any that somebody bought and I shipped out. I made the mistake a couple of times of having 100% cotton shirt.
oh
I
yeah.
don't care if you use this spray or not. I wouldn't trust 100% cotton shirt with the
Mm-mm.
sublimation. I just would not. Because I put them in the wash and it washed the image
Mhm.
almost completely out.
Yeah. It's
If
gotta have that polyester in there to bind it and stuff.
I'd say do a 50-50 blend. Uh, Definitely needs that polyester to have it bind,
Yeah.
the ink to bind. So, anyway, enough about that. But um, I'm going to go ahead because Candice is my lovely co host as always, and I'm going to let her talk first, and then we'll go back and forth with these movies or whatever we want to talk about, and then we'll do our totally trivia segment. We'll talk a little bit about Val Kilmer before we're
Okay.
done with the show.
Well, I mean, I don't really have any April Fools things to talk about or anything. I love April Fool's Day. I like pulling jokes and stuff like that. But um, I still do that. I still do the whole April Fool's thing. But I have been watching a lot of more movies here lately. Movies that I've either revisited or that I've never seen before. And I know that's not really in line with what we're talking about, but it gives me something to talk about that I'm excited about because
Oh,
I've just been like in my downtime when I work and stuff like that. I have been watching movies. And it started out with like I think the first one I started watching was Mr. Mom. That's one I love. I watched
oh
it a
my
billion
God.
times. I mean,
Yes.
Dana loves Mr. Mom. We've talked about it before. It's one of my favorite Michael Keaton movies. So I started with that, but then I just kind of went down like when you're on YouTube and they have these free movies on there that from the YouTube, I guess page or whatever, channel. They give you suggestions on the side. So I've been kind of doing this game where I will find one on that suggestions and
Hmm.
I'll move it on and move it on and move it on. So I'll start with Mr. Mom and I can start talking about some of those movies that I've watched. I've either revisited from my childhood or that I've never seen before.
Hmm.
So Mr. Mom, we're not going to talk about unless you want to. I mean, we've talked about it before.
Yeah, we can do whatever, Candace.
So I actually watched a movie that I had never seen before. It's not a spring movie. It's not anything like that, but it's a sad movie. It's one that you actually suggested
Oh,
to
okay.
me that I had never seen. So when I watched Mr. Mom, the suggestion for My Life was on there
Uh huh.
with
Yeah.
Michael Keaton. I said, "Now I know Dana said that this one was sad, but it's a Michael Keaton film. It's one I've never seen, and I've seen almost all of his films." And I'm glad I watched it. It's got Nicole Kidman and Michael Keaton, and this is it's got comedy in it. I mean, there's
Yeah.
parts he's very lighthearted, but it is sad. He has terminal cancer, and his wife, who is Nicole Kidman, has she's pregnant with their first child. What is he? He's some kind of executive or
I
something, and
think
he's
so. Yeah.
yeah, and he's been really secretive, and he wants to make a what do you like a catalog of films from his life for his child to see because he knows he's not going to make it. You know, he's trying to make it. And I remember Dana telling me that when we was talking about it one time, you know, that he went through like these healers and, you know, he wanted to go through
Acupuncture
stuff.
and all kinds of
Hmm.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. And he wanted to beat it, but, you know, he has terminal cancer. So you know how it ends. But the movie was a really good movie. It was very sad. I had to keep myself from crying.
I did
Uh,
cry the first time I watched it. I was like, I bawling like a
Around people, so I couldn't do that, but I was trying
yeah.
to kinda hold it in, but, I really enjoyed it. I would think I would out of 5 stars, I think I would have gave it a 3. If we're doing halves, 3.5.
Okay.
Um, because I really liked it. It's not one that I want to say, "Hey, I wanna watch this again and again,"
Yeah,
because
you
it
don't
just
want to turn right around and watch it again, but
yeah, not because it was bad, just because it was one of those that is it makes you think about your own life. It makes you think, "Well, what if I was in that position?"
mhm.
You know, I mean, even if you don't have kids or anything like that, you can imagine what he's going through. You know, he's having his first kid, he's dying, and it just, you know, he's trying to make the best of stuff, and he's a funny person, you know, too. So he kind of makes light of it, and I liked it. It was a really good movie, and I suggest it. If you've never seen it, you like Michael Keaton, even if you don't, I suggest you watch it. It's really good, good film. I'm glad you suggested that, Dana. I probably wouldn't never watched it if you hadn't.
I just want to ask you, Candace, I'm not going to go into extreme detail
Mhm.
about the ending of the film, but when his character finally passes
Yeah.
away, how did you what did you think of how they approached his death, the way that it was filmed?
I like the way they did it.
Mhm.
And
I
Queen
did
Latifah's in it too. She's his
Mhm.
caregiver. I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy him passing away or anything like that, but I liked how they approached that, and I
Right.
liked the follow up on it. You
Yeah.
know, it shows his little son and stuff, and watching these funny videos that he's made of his life. So I thought that they approached that ending. I think it suited it.
Mhm. And I
So yeah,
like the fact that they did not just do a traditional somebody's lying in bed. They're
people
just
around them.
basically
Yeah.
waiting to pass away, take their
Mhm.
last breath. I thought it was pretty stylish the way that they did that and treated
They
the
yeah,
deceased.
the way that I would describe it, Dana, and maybe I'm just, that's just the way I see it. It's like it showed him with his last breath. It was like it's like he passed away, but that last breath breathed to his son
Yeah.
and what was going on there. So I like how they kind of transition that. So if you watch it and you see that ending, then you'll know what we're talking about when it does that. It's a
Mhm.
really good movie. I'm glad I watched it. Like I said, it's not a spring movie, but it's one to
Well, I
watch.
mean, nobody can say necessarily that you couldn't watch it in the spring, you
Mhm.
couldn't
Yeah.
watch it in the fall, you could watch it whenever. That's a whenever movie, whenever
Yeah.
the mood strikes you to watch something. And I've had that movie on DVD for years and years and years,
Yeah.
but I have to be in a certain state of mind to watch it. Like, you don't wanna be depressed and watch it because even though there are comedic elements and he treats his illness during the majority of the movie as he tries to laugh about it, to get through this with the utmost dignity, and I think Michael Keaton pulls it off
He does.
wonderfully in the
Mhm.
movie. Um, but it's still I've got to be really, really happy. The sun's got to be shining out there. I'm just one of those types of people that if I'm already sad, that's not what I want to watch. I've made the mistake of doing that before, and then I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, you don't
"Oh,
wanna watch it when you're
no,
sad
yeah,
because
yeah,
it
don't do that."
No,
But
that's a mistake.
if the sun is really bright outside and you're feeling pretty good, you've had a good day, then this is a wonderful movie because the message behind it is what's so wonderful.
Yeah.
And a father that is willing to go to those lengths even though he's dying,
Yeah.
but he will go to whatever lengths to make sure his child knows who he is, even though he's not going to be there for that
Yeah.
child.
Yeah, it's just got a nice sentiment behind it because the thing that really made me connect, and I'll just be personal here, the thing that made me really connect with that, it's not the same thing, but it's the same concept. When Noah was about 3 or 4, um, I bought a diary and I've wrote in it ever since, telling about his life, what's going on in his life, and I plan to give it to him when he's older. And I said, if something ever happened to me, this would be something that he could have. I write about how he's growing, significant things that are happening in our lives. I wrote down the lyrics to our song. Me and ever since he was little, I always sung the Beatles melody of all my loving and I should have known better
Mhm.
to him. So I wrote all those lyrics down, wrote who sung them, who it is, all this good stuff, just every detail that I think that I should tell him. When we bought our new house, I wrote about that. And it just kind of reminded me of that. And it kind of hit me in the heartstrings whenever I kind of put two and two together. I was like, this would be something I would want to do if I knew that something was, going to happen. It's a very sad, it's sad, but it's I don't know, bittersweet maybe
Yeah,
is
yeah,
is what
yeah, that's a perfect way.
I mean,
to
you're not going to go in there like dripping, tears and stuff. You're going to laugh a little too because,
oh yeah,
like it's Michael Keaton and, he can be serious. And he is serious in this film, but he's also you can tell he's a funny guy, you know.
he's
So I like that aspect of it.
even I think even when Michael Keaton has played bad guys, and it's been rare that he's done
Yeah.
that, but he has played bad guys. He's even got a sense of humor about
I
that.
love him. Yeah, I love him. He's my favorite actor of all time. I mean, you know that. I love Michael Keaton. He's always been my favorite actor since I was as long as I can remember ever watching film because Beetlejuice was the first movie that I ever remember watching, and it's my favorite movie of all time. So, of course, Michael Keaton's gonna be my favorite actor. I just think I can just look at him and start laughing. It's not because he's ugly; he's very attractive, I think. But
Mm,
he's one of those funny people like Jim Carrey, and just you look at them and they're funny. They're just like naturally funny. You know what I mean?
yeah, they've just got, and it's they don't have to work hard at it either.
No,
It just comes natural to them. I guess
naturally,
that's
yeah,
a natural uh, comedian, I guess,
yeah.
is what that is. I mean, like a multiplicity, I found myself just some of those looks, even when he was the clones, like I just found myself just dying with laughter. My mom too. I remember me and her watching that movie together early on, and mom just got so tickled at
Number
like,
4.
yeah, especially number 4, like, "She touched my peppy, Steve," and
She's
stuff
got about
like
50
that.
feet. I like pizza. I like it.
You just can't help but
Yeah.
laugh at that stuff. But even when he was the original, he still had funny
Oh
parts.
yeah, because hey, each of these clones were essentially a
Part
part
of
of
him.
him, and
Mhm.
that's a great movie to watch during the spring or summer or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
It's so funny. I love it. I have even though I've watched these films 1,000 times, I have Michael Keaton marathons all the time. I'm more cloned to or cloned. I'm more prone
Never think about clothes.
to his comedic roles, but I'm starting to watch because I like White Noise. That was a great film.
White Noise was good. Yeah, I haven't
That's
seen
a
that
good
in a while.
I've not seen that in a really long time, but I liked it, and it was a serious role. But Beetlejuice is my favorite film of all time. But if I had to choose a film that wasn't um, Beetlejuice, I love Night Shift with Henry Winkler. I think that's one of the
Mhm.
greatest movies ever. Gung Ho, Mr. Mom, which I said is just one of the greatest movies ever. I love Michael Keaton. He's so funny,
The
and I
the
just love
Dream
everything about him.
Team, I
The
love.
Dream Team with Christopher Lloyd. That's a
Yeah,
great one. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Yeah, but you can always Michael Keaton is a any time of the year,
yeah. And
watch. You
he's
can watch
such
him.
a versatile actor. I mean, we've
Mhm.
talked about that. He can be funny, he can be serious, he can play a bad guy.
Yeah.
He can play whatever you throw at him.
And he's the best Batman ever. You can argue with me all you want, whoever is
Oh,
watching
I
this or
agree. I,
whatever.
I think he's the best Batman
He
ever.
is Batman, and I don't see any other Batmans, which
He
I
was
love.
the
I love
first.
Batman.
He was the first and only Batman
Yeah,
for me.
which I love. The '60s Batman series. I love. Val Kilmer is which is somebody
Yeah,
that we're going to be talking about. I love Val Kilmer. I love the different people that play. But to me, the greatest Batman, the supreme Batman, is Michael Keaton. So
right.
yeah,
Yeah, you could argue with me up and down with that, and I'd still say Michael Keaton. He is Batman. He's the modern day Batman. He's
he
he's
is.
really the Batman that I grew up with.
I loved his Bruce Wayne. Some people say, well, he was a superb Batman, but as Bruce Wayne, they like other people better than.
Hmm.
But I loved. I mean,
Yeah,
because they're the same people, but they, you know, I like him as the same. It's the same thing to me that it is. How can you not like it?
To
Some
me,
people just
it's like Clark Kent and Superman.
yeah, it's the same person. I mean, it's
Mm.
just their disguise. But I've actually had people say, "Well, I like him and I love him as Batman. I think he's the greatest Batman that ever existed. But as Bruce Wayne, I like other people better."
I
I was
don't
like,
get that. I don't know.
to me, I mean, everybody's got their own opinion and the way they see stuff, but I mean, it's the same. I
Yeah.
guess you could, separate the two, but I mean, to me, they're the same because they are the same person.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have to agree with Candace on that too. I don't see where the separation is really, or too much of a separation there. Um, so I guess I'll talk about April Fool's Day real quick here. Now, this has always, always, always been one of my April Fool's Day movies. I can't let April go by. Sometimes I let April first go by without getting it, depending on how busy. But I don't want to let the month of April go by without watching this. And like I said earlier, this cover was what caught my eye at the video store. How could it not? I mean, you've got this girl, and if you look closely, her braided hair is in a noose.
Hmm.
I don't know if everybody has noticed that. Now, when I
Yeah.
first rented it, I didn't notice the noose.
Really?
Um, it took me, maybe a couple more times to look at it. I was like, "Oh, that's a noose on there." But I did notice the knife behind her back. You couldn't miss that, and I was like, "Yeah, I've got to rent this." Chris says Michael Keaton is the best Batman. Christian Bale is the best Bruce Wayne, or at least the most comic accurate, in my opinion.
Well, I wasn't going to name who said that, but I guess he outed himself. So, Ah.
Oh man. Okay. Um, yeah, Chris, you just outed yourself. And so I don't know how many people know this unless, they knew about it before or they've heard me talk about it before. But there is a novelization of April Fool's Day.
Hmm.
And the novelization goes, of course, into more detail and actually has a more serious turn of events than what actually takes place in the movie. Now, I don't want to go into extreme detail because there may still be people that haven't seen April Fool's Day, and I don't want to ruin anything for them. But if you could get a hold of the novelization and watch the movie, I'd love to hear people's, comparisons and stuff like that. Um, because when they first wrote the script was more like the novelization. I think the novelization came later, but what the novelization did was it was taken from the original
The
script.
script. Hmm.
And so it did take a more serious, deadly turn than the original or the movie that came out. Um, and this also has the significance of having the two Debras on. I refer to them as the two Debras. You have Deborah Foreman, who plays Muffy St. John, the one that invites all her college friends to the house that's going to become hers as part of an inheritance after her mother passed.
Oh, is it where they take a boat there?
Yeah, they do take a
I've
boat
seen
there.
this
They take
movie.
the ferry.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
it. I've seen it. I
Okay.
watched it last year. Me and
Okay.
Chris did on April's Fool. I forgot all about that. Yeah, because when you said that name, I said that. Yeah, I remember laughing at that name. But I've seen it. They go to this big like mansion house or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like on a lake or whatever. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I watched
And
it last year. I can't remember anything, Dana.
oh, that's okay. You remembered while I was talking about it. And
Yeah.
so the other Deborah is Deborah Goodrich.
Mhm.
who Deborah Goodrich, you will remember from things like Just One of the Guys. Uh,
She was the main girl there in
she
the
was
football?
the she was the main love interest of the
Oh, okay.
secondary character in there because Joyce Heiser played like the main girl.
Okay, okay. The one that's like the football or whatever. Are we talking about the same
No, I
movie?
think that I'm sorry. I meant to say just one. Did I say just one of the guys?
Uh-huh. Is it the one
Okay.
where the girl is in
Well,
the
the
locker
one
room?
the yeah, she does get in the locker room, but there's also just one of the girls, and I think that had Corey Haim on it. And I
I've
think
never
that
seen
had something to do with football.
that.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. But I thought, did I say the name title of the
I
movie?
can't remember. I've seen it, but I can't remember. It's been a really long time, probably the early 2000s whenever I watched it.
But
I've seen that movie before.
Joyce Heiser was, at least back in the 80s, she was a very attractive woman and had, she had her nice figure and stuff like that. You seen her in bathing suits and stuff. But she thought that she wanted to be a journalism major when she got out of high school. And she thought that she wasn't being taken seriously as a journalist. She thought that they just looked at her as just a pretty face and nothing behind it. So she goes to another school as a boy. Um, she cuts her hair off, and she
Yeah,
was.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Mhm. But Clayton Ronner or Roner, I can't remember exactly how you pronounce it. He is on April Fool's Day as Deborah Goodrich's uh, current boyfriend. Evidently, Deborah Goodrich's character had a lot. They had circulated through some of the boys in their friend circle. Um, but she is with Clayton Ronner's character at this point in time. But also, Clayton Ronner is also in Just One of the Guys, and he's in love with Deborah Goodrich's character, and Joyce Heiser's character is in love with Clayton Ronner's character, which makes for a lot of funny stuff in the middle of it, including the scene near the end where they're at the prom, and Joyce Heiser says, "I'm a female, I'm a woman," and Clayton Ronner's like, "Yeah, right." And this is where I say you can show a woman's boobs at least one time in PG-13. She pulls open her tuxedo and he's like, he's looking at her boobs like, she's like, "I'm a female, I swear." Um, but anyway, I'm guessing that a lot of these people must have been friendly in real life and maybe had been to a lot of auditions maybe at the same time. Because, I noticed they were both in that movie, Just One of the Guys, and they're also in April Fool's Day, which were kind of both around the same time period.
Yeah.
But you also, Amy Steele from Friday the 13th Part 2
Mhm.
is in this. Uh, Thomas F. Wilson from the Back to the Future movies that plays Biff.
Yeah.
He's in this playing Arch. Um, let's see who Griffin O'Neill, Tatum O'Neill's brother, is in this. So we have a lot of big names from the 80s at least that show up in this movie, and it's your typical slasher movie setup, but it's also reminds me of a teen comedy in a lot of ways as well, because these actors were probably a little bit older than they were playing because they're playing
Yeah.
college students, but they fit that mold of they could be in a teen
Yeah.
slasher or they could be in a teen comedy. It
Yeah. They're
had
picking around on each other and saying stuff and stuff. I remember that when they were like on that boat and they're because that I think that's that scene at the very beginning when I first started watching it. I don't really want to give a lot away, but whenever it first like the first death on there.
Mhm.
You know that guy that falls off there, or was in a what's he in, like a little boat or something like that, and he gets like run over, or
He's actually that's Buck, I think that you're
did he
talking
like
about.
dive down into the
He
water or
he
something?
went
Didn't
in
he?
the water because um, Griffin O'Neill's character and Thomas F. Wilson's character played a prank on everybody, made
Yeah,
it look like Griffin O'Neill's character got stabbed in the stomach and fell overboard. Everybody goes to jump in, and Buck was one of them. So he's in the water. He tells the ferryman, he said, I'll take care of whatever he was supposed to be doing. He said, I'll take care of it from here. The boat comes and smashes into his head, and it's not very good.
there was something about that though. I can't remember what it was. I'd have to pull it back up and watch it again. But I remember laughing like hysterically over something that happened
Uh,
like during that death or something like that. It was like weird. I don't know if it was just something cheesy or what it was, but I like to rewatch that because I remember um, when that happened. I just remember laughing at something. I can't remember what it was though. It was something about the death though. If it looked weird or something like
it
that.
may have, because like he's under the water and they're all, looking down, and he comes up, and it is kind of weird and bizarre the way he comes up and is, whole
It
one
might be
side of
what
his
it I think that's what it was. Chris said probably his face being messy.
face. Yeah.
I think it was something about saying it just looked like it was really fun. I don't know. I don't know. She's been laughing at somebody dying, but I mean, a lot of these films like that, that were made back in the 80s and stuff like that, they have some scenes where, I mean, that's part of the fun of watching these films like that is because some of them's funny. Something
Mhm.
that's supposed to be serious is funny, I think.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know.
I've always maintained that the majority of these movies are what I call popcorn movies.
Yeah.
And they're ones that have jump scares and stuff like that to make you toss your popcorn in there. That's what I call a popcorn movie. But the other side of saying that something's a popcorn movie is that they're fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you get older, they bring back that nostalgic, that feeling that you had the first time you watched them, which
Mhm.
was, oh, this is fun and it's kind of scary and it's silly. And,
Yeah.
even ones that don't take place on April Fool's Day, they're kind of silly. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest with this. They're not logical, they're very nonsensical, but you don't have to expend much mind power, if any. You can just literally zone out. You've had a tough day at work, you had a fight with your spouse, or you got into it with one of your kids or something like that. Your dog crapped all over the rug or whatever. You can, for that time period, you can like just sit there and
Sit
just
there and
zone out
yeah.
for that 90 minutes or whatever it is, Um, but I could talk about April Fool's Day all day long, but I won't. So I'm going to turn it back over to Candace to talk about another one.
Well, along the lines of what I was talking about, me watching some movies here recently, um, another set of movies, which there's a sequel. I don't know if you ever watched them or not, Dana. You probably had, or the Short Circuit films.
Oh, I love Short Circuit.
And Johnny Five.
Yeah.
I loved Short Circuit as
In
a
fact,
kid.
I love Johnny Five so much that my robot vacuum, I named it Johnny Five.
Oh, really?
So,
Well, see, I absolutely loved Short Circuit as a kid. I would rent them, the first one and the second one, over and over and over again. And I hadn't watched them probably in a good 30 years, I'd say. I was probably 8, 9, 10, maybe whenever the last time I ever watched it. But when I was a little kid, I would watch it so much that that was my go-to thing was to get one of the Short Circus films when we go to the movie warehouse and stuff. That's the local place we go to. So watching them as an adult, I don't know. I think I enjoy them even more now than I did then. And you was talking about like nostalgia and all that. Um, I always, as a kid, I loved the second one, I think, more than the first. But as an adult, for some reason, I love the first one better. I give it a 5 stars, the first one. If you've never seen Circuit, it's the cutest robot movie ever. And it's for
Um,
adults too. I mean, it's got cursing and, I think it's rated PG, but back then, they were a little bit more crude in their stuff. But Johnny Five is so cute. And what's the guy's name? He's got Ali Sheedy and me and my mom was just talking about him.
um,
The
oh gosh.
what's his name?
I know because he's in the burning.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
I
gosh.
should.
Chris,
I'm gonna.
help us out if you're still in here.
I'm thinking about opening up that door and saying, "Mom, what's his name?
I
What
know
was
his
his
name. It's
name?
on the tip of my tongue.
Let me look him up."
Gosh.
Shh. Yeah, I'm
'Cause
looking him
I know
up.
he plays Woodstock on the burning.
Let's see. I know once I see it, it'll come right to me. We was just talking
Yeah.
about him yesterday. Uh, why can't I never remember?
My brain, it almost scares me how bad my
Well,
memory is anymore.
you're joining my club now, Dane. And I feel sorry for you. You don't want to stop because you know how bad I get. Okay.
I blame it
Uh,
all on COVID.
Steve Gutenberg is in it.
Yeah.
Fisher Stevens.
Fisher Stevens, on
I
it.
could
Yeah.
not remember his name whatsoever. Fisher Stevens, that's his name. But Steve Gutenberg's in it. I forgot
Yeah,
about
I'd
him.
forgotten
Yeah,
about Steve Gutenberg, and I love Steve Gutenberg as well. So
but Fisher Stevens. I love Fisher Stevens. He's in the
I
first and
do
the second
too.
one. And he's one of my favorite characters. I believe he's one of my favorite. In the first one, he's not used as much, but in the second one he is. So, um, I really like him. I think he played a good. Is he really from in? See, he plays an Indian guy. Is
Yeah,
he from?
but no,
Is he India?
I'm sure he's just because I remember him from the burning. He's as white as we are. So if I can say that without making anybody mad, I'm not trying to make anybody mad.
Oh my goodness. But anyway, Johnny Five is so cute. I forget the guy who talks as him. But I think it's just such a cute film. The second one's really funny too. He goes to, what is it, New York that they're in? I think's where
I
they're
think
at.
so. Yeah.
And he's alive. And it's also got that guy in it that played in shoot, what's his name? He played in the Muppet movie and My Cousin Vinny. Let me see what his name is. He stutters in My Cousin Vinny, and then he plays the to Doc Hopper, his little assistant.
Oh,
Austin Pendleton is his name.
yes, I love that guy.
Yeah,
Too. I love him and
yeah,
everything he's in. He was in um, Christmas with the Cranks.
yeah, yeah. I love that. That's a good one too. But
Yeah.
Tim Blaney is the one that talks as Johnny Five, and I think he also played in the Men in Black. He talks as a little
Mhm.
pug. So, yeah, I love those films. I think they're so cute, and if you've never seen them, give them a watch. And the second one is Michael McCain. I love Michael McCain. Lenny and Squiggy from
Yeah.
he's Lenny, and he also plays on Spinal Tap. If you like the Spinal Tap films, I love him. He's a great.
I still need to watch This Is Spinal Tap.
Have you never seen
I need to
that,
see it,
Dana?
Candace. I know. I've been
Oh
told
my
you
gosh.
gotta watch this movie.
I absolutely love Spinal Tap. I mean, this is Spinal Tap. It's such a funny film. I love it. I think that because they got real albums and stuff. They're a real
Yeah.
band. It's awesome. If you've never seen This is Spinal Tap, definitely look into it. I
Yeah.
think you would love it,
Here
Dana.
I say I'm a music fan. I ain't even seen that
Oh,
movie.
you got to watch it. It's hilarious. It's like a mock.
Steve may own it already
Yeah, it's
because that
great.
sounds like something he'd
These
have.
ones go up to 11. Ah, you have to watch it. I think you'll love it.
Oh, I can almost guarantee I would. You ever wonder sometimes, Candace, why you haven't watched a certain
Oh, yeah,
movie? Or,
definitely. Like, discovering, like, some of these movies that I'm watching, currently, I'm like, "Why have I never really watched this?" Or I will know stuff about certain films, but I've never really sit down and fully watched them. Have you ever done that too? Like,
mm,
as you're growing up, it's like, "I've seen some of this, but I've never watched it all the way through." So, but the Johnny 5, I love Johnny 5. I wanna get a little Johnny 5 robot and but,
I wish I was smart enough to build a Johnny Five
mhm.
robot that would actually move
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff
that'd
like
be
that.
amazing. But just a little rundown, if you've never seen the Short Circuit films, he's basically a robot who's part of this, like, military mission. They're designed to kill people in
Mm,
battle, but he gets short-circuited when a lightning bolt comes down and hits his generator that he's attached to. So he essentially starts thinking and feeling for himself. He gets away, and, in the first one, he comes upon Ally Sheedy, who is a animal lover, and she's got this really barbaric ex-boyfriend who's beating up on her and stuff like that. But he is, he's wanting to know, he's wanting to know about stuff. He's wanting to know about knowledge,
mm,
the more he learns, the more he becomes more alive, I guess. And in the second one, he's sent to New York City, and that one's really funny too. I like that one a whole lot, but the first one, I don't know. It's something about the first one that um, I don't know. It just I like them both. You just have to watch them for yourself to see which one you like better. Have you seen the second one, Dana?
I think I have, but it's been a little while since I've seen it. I think I have the first Short Circuit on
Hmm.
DVD somewhere. Uh,
Yeah, they send him to Fisher Stevens, and he's it's so fun. You just have to watch it. I don't want to give it away, but they end up, with Michael McCain, and
mhm.
in this big warehouse making these little toy robots and stuff. And then Johnny Five gets duped into like joining a gang. He's like stealing car stereos out of all these cars, and he comes back all graffitied up and talking this like gang language and all this stuff. And then he's like, I don't know. You just have to watch it. It's really good. If you like that kind of thing, I like cheesy stuff, so it's a good movie.
Yeah, I agree. That I wish they had made more of them, but I guess that's one
Yeah.
of those things that it was lightning in a bottle there for a short time,
Hmm.
and then it's like move on to the next thing.
That's something I thought of actually. After I watched that second one, I was like, how come this never became a series? Was it like too much to puppeteer in? Was it too much,
Uh,
to do? But I thought it would make a good like a little series or something like a TV show or something, but just never came to be, or
oh
at least a cartoon.
yeah, a cartoon. That's what I was going to say. Johnny Five is a cartoon character.
Unless they made one and we just didn't know about it.
If anybody knows about it, please let us know. Um, so the second one I was going to talk about real quick is Slaughter High. This is another one that I saw the VHS cover and like, who could not rent this? And it has the tagline Marty majored in cutting classmates. And they really knew how to do artwork for VHS
Yeah.
covers that would make people one want to rent them, and then when they
Mhm.
became more affordable to buy, of course, to buy as well. And I'm thinking of things not only like this and April Fool's Day, but Sleepaway Camp that had the tennis shoe upturned on top of
Oh,
the knife
yes.
and blood
Yeah.
running down. I mean, just those were eye catching.
And sometimes the artwork was far more better than the film.
Oh yeah, then the film itself.
I can't tell you how many times I felt duped getting these VHSs. And I just don't think that they put that much of work into creating these movie posters anymore.
No,
Every so
they don't.
often you'll
I
find
agree.
a amazing, new film, but a lot of it's just, it's just like generic. I don't know. It's just like
Mhm.
pictures of them. It's not something that is creative like what you would see back in the, especially the 80s. The 80s was like probably the pinnacle of
Oh, that yeah,
awesome
that was
VHS
prime.
covers,
Mhm,
movie covers, movie posters and stuff. So, yeah, I agree with you on there. It's got a really nice uh, artwork on it.
mhm. So, Slaughter High is about Marty, essentially, who I'm going to say it, he's a nerd, and the ritzy, the popular crowd don't like him. He's just a nerd that gets all these science awards and stuff like that. And so, Caroline Monroe plays the oldest high schooler in the history of high school students. And Caroline Monroe would admit that. They do an interview with her on this Blu ray, and she says, I was way too old to be playing a high school student. But it somehow weirdly works because who doesn't like Caroline Monroe? I mean, she's attractive, she's a decent actress, and I don't know, even though I knew she was too old to be playing a high schooler, it still somehow it just clicked for me. And it's a slasher movie, so what do you want from a 1980s slasher movie? Do you want Citizen Kane? No, we're not wanting Citizen Kane. We're watching this. So they decide to play a prank on Marty, and Marty's birthday is April Fool's Day. It's April 1st. And I leave Caroline Monroe alone. Hey, I said she's very attractive and she's a great actress. I just said she's too old to be, she admitted that. I know Chris is just kidding me. Um, but so they play a prank on him, and he's in the chemistry lab, and their prank backfires very badly,
Mm.
and acid is splashed on Marty. And one of the things but this is horror movie logic, folks. They never make sense. I was like, why on earth is this acid on the very top shelf of this very tall shelf, and you see it shaking all the time?
Yeah,
You know it's going to fall off and it's going to splash on somebody. Well, that's what happens because of their prank. Marty gets splashed with acid in the face, and then the chemistry lab goes up in flames. They all run because they hear an explosion, and they're looking in. You're watching them, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, what have we done?" And Marty is like, he's got a beam, a metal beam or something on him, and he raises up, and one side of his face is all messed up because of the acid and because
uh-huh.
he's burned too on top of that. And he just goes "Eh," like that and lets out this awful, noise. So then the paramedics come and they're carrying him out on a stretcher. We see Caroline Monroe as Carol bending over and say, "Oh, Marty, I'm so sorry. We never meant to." And he puts his hands around her throat. She wakes up. It's a nightmare. And then we go into the movie. They get invited. Her and the others that played this
Mhm.
prank on Marty years ago get invited back to their old high school, supposedly for a reunion.
Yeah,
But it seems that Marty wants his revenge, and he's invited just those people back so he can get revenge on them. Then it turns into your standard slasher
yeah,
horror film. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because Slaughter High might be another one that there might be some people out there that haven't seen it. Yeah, it's goofy. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But again, if you've had a bad day or something and you just want to watch something that you don't have to think about, uh, you can watch these butt heads get killed off in this that were mean to Marty. It's a safe way to get out frustration because
yeah,
these people weren't really getting killed. It's not like it's a snuff film or something. And so it's just a safe way to diffuse.
Yeah.
And I think even people that were a little more popular, a whole lot more popular than I was in school, have felt ostracized. Even
Yeah.
the popular people, I think, have felt ostracized. Maybe not as much as us regular people or people that consider themselves metalheads or movie nerds or whatever. We always pretty much, or I did, felt apart from a lot of people. Um, and that was until I started hanging out with the people that I hang out with now.
Same. Yeah.
But I think everybody went through that at some point in
Oh
their
yeah.
life. So it's sometimes, like watching Carrie or watching this one where you's like, you go girl to Carrie, they did this awful thing to you. They embarrassed you in front of the
Yeah.
whole student body by pouring pig's blood on you at the prom when you
Hmm.
were at the pinnacle of your happiness. Yeah, you take care of those people. You use your power you got on because again, it's a safe way to diffuse. You're not really hurting anybody. She's not
Sorry.
really hurting anybody. Um, it's all a movie. It's all make believe.
Yeah.
But Candace, do you need to step away or anything? I
No,
saw the door open.
no, it's Henley. He's wanting he said we promised him a taste test at the end of our show this week. So
Good,
he's
we
he's
did, didn't we?
yeah. So he's got something he's wanting to do that, you
Well,
know.
I could probably grab something and do a taste test too. So,
Okay. If you want
uh,
to do that, we can.
yeah, I just totally
He was
forgot
like he was like he's like, "Is it time? Is it time?" I said, "I'm not."
about
Hold on. I knew you wouldn't care, so
Oh, no, 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 I don't mind at all. So I'm gonna I know I told Candace we try to keep this at an hour and Candace, if it gets too late, you just tell me. We gotta cut this off. Um, but I did want to turn it back over to Candace in case there was something one of these others that she wanted to talk about.
well, you can go ahead since you already have something picked out,
Okay.
and do that. That week we can move on to our trivia,
All
and
right.
then which I barely finished before having to come on here.
I came up with 5 questions, so
And
I
this was all off the top of my head. So Dana, if they don't make any, they
I
all are.
cheated a little bit. I got on the internet and found some
I was
different
like, I gotta write down something really quick because I was looking down. It was like 35 after or something. I was like, I better
uh,
write something down real quick before it's time for me to get on there. And then I come in here and discovered that I was gonna be late anyway. So, um, yeah, we can do that. You go ahead and go with your next one,
so
and then we can.
I'll talk about Killer Party, which is my last April Fool's Day movie. Now, again, I was late to the game with Killer Party. This was not one I ever rented. This is not one I ever remember seeing at the video rental stores back home. Um,
Sorry about yawning.
oh, that's okay. I didn't know if you were going to sneeze or what. I was
No, you know me and yawning. Once it gets a certain time of day, I start doing that.
Now, I will admit, the first time I watched Killer Party, I was not a fan of it. And here's why. Because when I started watching it, I thought it was going to be standard slasher movie stuff. That's what I thought it was going to be. And then, about a quarter of the way through it, it turns into Evil Dead. It's like Evil Dead meets a slasher movie. I kid you not.
My goodness, I've never seen it.
But now I like it. I like the way it takes that turn from a slasher movie into a possession movie,
Hmm.
essentially. And not a possession movie like The Exorcist. I don't want Candace to think, oh God, I don't want to watch this ever because it's not that kind. It's more like, you know, a spirit
Yeah.
invading. But I tell you, the girl, the main girl in this, I mean, I'm sure some of this was special effects, but her mannerisms and stuff when she gets possessed by this spirit, and she's like she's talking with a man's voice, and she says, April Fools, assholes. And she's just like, just completely getting into it. And I just, on second watch, I absolutely loved it. I was like, I get this movie now because it starts out, like I said, like a slasher movie, and you get fooled at least twice because the movie starts out, or what you think is the movie starts out. This turns out to be a drive in movie.
Huh.
Then you're tricked again. It's a music video. It goes from a girl in a music video, a girl in a music video watching a drive in movie. Monsters start coming after zombies and stuff like that. And there is a real band in here. Are they called White Sister? And they sing a song called uh what is it? Well, I know I can't remember exactly the name of it, but there's April, uh, Don't Be a Fool and stuff like that. And so I thought that was a really, really interesting way to have a double fake out in this movie. And then you actually get into the movie Killer Party and you see one of the main girls of the movie that you're watching, that you're actually watching that White Sister music video on TV. So you get the fake out of the drive-in movie that goes into the music video, then the music video goes into the movie. And I can't think of another movie that actually did that two times
What year did
before.
that come out, Dana? Do you know?
86, I believe.
Huh.
Yeah. And this was directed by William Fruitt, who I want to say he did Funeral Home, which is one of my favorite Canadian horror movies. Very creepy movie if you've never seen Funeral Home.
I
Has
don't think I've
Leslie
seen that one either.
Donaldson, Kay Hawtrey is in this. But anyway, back to Killer Party though. Killer Party also has Sherry Willis Birch, who was in Final Exam, which I know is a movie a lot of people kid me about that I absolutely love. Yeah, it's a bad slasher movie, but I just absolutely love it. And Sherry Willis Birch plays the very attractive sorority sister in Final Exam. But in this movie, she plays Vivica, a girl who's kind of nerdy and wants to be a sorority sister.
Hmm. Kind of
And
reverse role then, isn't
yeah,
it?
kinda, yeah, but I just love Sherry Willis Birch. In fact, I wish she had done more movies, but eventually she went on to become a school teacher.
Hmm.
I think she was teaching young kids. I don't know if it was first grade or what she was teaching, but she went on. She left the movie business and went into teaching. So you have the three main girls who want to get into the sorority, and they're taken to task by the sorority sisters are already there, and they're all bitchy and stuff like that, and they make them like go into one of the fraternity houses, and they're supposed to steal three of the guys' shirts, and then during one of the sorority things, they can't wear anything but these shirts, and if they don't get a shirt, it's bareback all
Oh
the way.
goodness.
So they want to make sure that they get them, and there's all kinds of pranks that's being played. Uh, the boys, the fraternity boys, play a trick on the girls who are in the hot tub. The sorority sisters are in the hot tub, and some of them are naked. And the boys send bees into the backyard, and they're all, this one girl has a towel around her, but she keeps getting mad at them, and the towel falls down. You see her butt. The guys are, And so it's kind of hijinks, kind of like a teen sex comedy again, but you also have the slasher element, and then later the Evil Dead element,
Huh.
where the main girl's like crawling on the ceiling, going,
Oh my
like
goodness.
that, and saying April Fools assholes and doing all kinds of nefarious things. So you can have a lot of fun with Killer Party, and most certainly did, but it had to grow on me. I had to
Mm.
watch it at least twice before it really grew on me.
You know,
So
these kind of films like this is something good. Like if you had a backyard cinema
mhm,
to sit
exactly.
outside and with people, of like age, if it's gonna be showing stuff like that. But that I don't know, it just reminds me of that. That was a good thing about going to drive-ins and stuff growing up is the fun and watching those kind of movies. I have a lot of memories doing that. Did you go to the drive-in and stuff as a kid and stuff, Dana?
Did. In fact, I probably went to the drive-in when I was too young to go to the drive-in but my parents, I don't want anybody to think that my parents weren't responsible parents, but I remember flashes of things that my parents took me to, like prom night. I
Hmm.
remember the beginning of prom night where little Robin Hammond falls out the window to her death and things like that. I remember parts of Death Ship. I was probably way too young to be watching something like Death Ship. But I remember the woman finding the candy on the ship, and it was a Nazi death ship, is what it was, and ghosts are on it, the Nazi
Hmm.
ghosts. And she eats the candy that she finds, and her face gets all, ugh, and she's like, help me. And her face is all messed up. It creeped me out as a kid. It's not so bad now, but, as a kid, I was like, oh man, this is creepy. I remember a vampire movie one time, but it's just weird how you remember like quick
Yeah.
flashes of things, basically. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
but
that's fun, and that's why I always, dreamed of having that, outside because that was probably some of the best times of my life,
oh
is
yeah,
going to a drive-in. That feeling of going as a family. Well, see, we used to do that as a family. I mean, my grandparents
yeah,
would even go with us and stuff. So it was really, really fun. I just thought that there was because I always was obsessed with the stars and outer space. So there was always something I don't know, something very spiritual. And I know that's so weird to some people, like spiritual going to a
no,
drive-in.
there's something really special
Yes, it
about
is because we would, lay down on the ground and look at the stars while watching these movies, and it didn't matter what was on the screen. It was awesome.
And
So,
every time me and Steve, even in my adult years, me and Steve have been to the Georgetown Drive-In
mhm.
in Indiana several times when we were dating, after we got married, and it's magical every
It
time we
is.
go.
It,
Every
it it's
time we go.
amazing. I love it. It didn't matter if it was cold or foggy or misty. That just added to the fun of driving.
Oh
And it's
yeah,
so sad that drive-ins are becoming obsolete. I
yeah,
mean, if I had $1 million, if I could do something, that would be what I would do, is create a drive-in. I would love it
that
for,
would be
free for
awesome.
people to come in and watch. I just think it's something that a community and, there were people around here, in my hometown that tried to do stuff like that. There was a guy that was basically he tried to have a free movie, like, it wasn't a outdoor theater or anything like that, but it was like free movie nights
Oh
for
yeah,
the whole city to come to, and people wouldn't come. I'm like,
I
this is
think
something that's offering for
people,
free for you,
I think people have forgotten
community.
the
Yeah.
community and the
Mhm.
joys of something as
Gathering.
simple as gathering together and watching a film together. And I think it's sad because I've seen it happen to Steve too, and he probably said that's not true, but people have become such homebodies. They don't
Yeah.
want to be around anybody
Mhm.
else. They want to just huddle up in their
Yeah,
house and
and
watch.
I'm guilty of it,
I'm
but,
guilty of it to some extent as well.
yeah.
I'm not going to put myself out of that, but
But, I'm putting myself right in that because I didn't go, I coulda went, I put myself in that as well. Um, it's just the concept. I think people like the concept of it, but, in my case, it's just you can't find the time
Right.
to do it, to go and do it, but you can always find time to do other things. So, you know.
But I will tell you, Steve, we haven't tried out our screen yet. But last year, me and Steve finally took his projector that he got.
Yeah.
And it's not an old timey projector. I kind of wish it was, but it's, the more modern
Yeah, like I
electronic
have, yeah.
projector. And we went out here and we projected, gosh, what did the Haunting of Hell House
Mhm.
was Roddy McDowell in it. We projected that old movie on our garage door, which is white, and I don't know how it was for Steve because he's not real expressive. He's not
Yeah.
like me, but it was magical for me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
brought
we
my
love doing it.
popcorn and I put it in a tub and we went out there and we sat in our lawn chairs or our camping chairs. And it was the most wonderful,
Mhm.
it was simple, but it
Yeah.
was the most wonderful thing I had done in a long, long
Yeah.
time.
I agree with you, Dana. That's what because when every time that we do something like that, and we're eventually going to get one of those big blow up ones,
Mhm,
blow up screens. But that's why I've been like kind of because I'm all like into like the 50s diner type stuff.
mhm.
I bought snow cone machines and popcorn machines. I think you got a popcorn
I've
machine.
got a popcorn machine, yep.
Got all that stuff because I like if I can't have one in my house because I used to have a home theater. I used to have I had a 99-inch screen, a home theater as a young adult, but in this house we can't. Is there's no room, so my backyard is the room. But the reason why I buy all this stuff because I love, and I do this. Every summer is I'll even go pay more money getting the little candy boxes of stuff. It's
Yes,
probably cheaper
yes.
getting it in a bag or something like that, but I'll put it down, I'll let the kids, choose what they want, and then we'll have popcorn, and I buy, like, the bags that look like the popcorn bags that you get or the buckets and stuff like that,
Mhm,
and we'll go and we'll do that because I don't know, it just brings something back. These
yeah,
kids didn't get to experience, but they did. I'm lying. We raised them in the drive-in,
mhm,
but sadly, those drive-ins have closed.
yeah.
So, I wanna keep that alive for them because they love the drive-in. They loved going to the drive-in. I know this ain't what we supposed to be talking about, is the drive-in or anything like that,
It's okay. People wanna hear about, whatever, I'm sure, so.
but I remember because there was we first had one over here. It was called Way Back When Drive-In,
Mhm.
and, it was about 15 minutes away from the house, and they closed it down, and then we would go all the way over to, I think what's it called? I can't remember what it's called now. We always got they know where it's at. I can't remember what the name of the drive-in was. But it was an awesome drive-in. And it was the one where they would park the cars around like this, like a half circle
Yeah.
around it. And it would start small down here and it'd get bigger and bigger and bigger like that. And they had the best food. That's the thing about the drive-in. And you probably remember this, Dana. They had
Mhm.
the best food, hot dogs and snacks. Every drive-in I've ever went to, they've always had the best like food,
And
nachos and cheese and all that stuff.
I think because my parents always told me, and they were like they went to the original, like in the
Yeah.
70s and like real early 80s. They went to drive-ins and they always told me the food was crap there. But I
Oh.
think these more modern
Mhm.
drive-ins, I think they've stepped up their game
Yeah.
a little
The
bit.
one that we would go to, the one that was in, oh my God, I cannot Stanton. I think is where it was. Stanton, Kentucky. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me if you're from around here. But what we would do is we would get more excited about the food than anything because it was just the best food ever.
Yeah.
Like cheesy hot dogs and all that good stuff, French
Mhm.
fries. And they had been open since like 1962 or something like that. I forget what time how they had opened, but they had the same kind of recipes and stuff
Yeah.
since then. So it was awesome. And I
Now,
was so sad when that closed.
the Georgetown drive-in in the fall, and I think they still do it. I'm going to be sad when this couple passes away. Um, Uncle Jesse, they call the man, and I guess him and the older woman. I guess they're married. That's
Yeah.
what I assume, but they make chili and ribeye sandwiches just
Mm.
about every fall at the Georgetown Drive-In, and me and Steve went there, several times and partaking of those ribeye steak sandwiches and the chili. I love the chili because Uncle Jesse cooks it in this 100-year-old iron kettle. And it is it's some of the best chili ever. And they put it in a styrofoam, it looks like a drink
Cup or something.
but
Yeah.
they fill that up and you can get crackers and
Well,
put
that's
in it.
awesome. See, I
Yeah.
love that. I absolutely love that. We're gonna have to go sometime soon to the drive-in
Mhm.
up there, and maybe come and get you guys, and if you want to go or whatever. Because I mean, I don't know. There's just something about it. I really miss going because we would go all throughout the summer. And
Yeah.
then whenever it got too far away, whenever they closed those down, and the other drive-ins that are closer to us is a more of a longer drive,
Mhm.
because we were already driving like an hour to the one. I think it's in Stanton. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but it was awesome. And I go by there all the time on our way to like Lexington or somewhere, and I'll see its remnants, and I'm like, it breaks my heart. I'm like, I miss that so much.
Yeah, and some people would be like, "Why y'all getting all misty
Oh
eyed over
no,
driving?" But it's
it's
you
wonderful.
you just had to. I think you have to experience it firsthand at least once in your life and
Yes,
really get that feel for it.
yeah, I love
Uh,
it. I really do.
but I guess Candace, you ready for totally trivia?
Yeah, and I hope that I didn't make too hard. I don't think they are. I just was whatever was coming up in my head. I
Uh-huh.
had to put it down. I had to search for like dates and stuff like that. Uh,
Well, I
with
don't think
more.
mine are going to be too hard, but we'll see. Some of them
You're
have
gonna
kind of
stump me. I know
clues.
that. I know you're gonna stump me, Dana.
I don't know. I don't know. So we'll go ahead and do the intro here, and we will. It probably took me and Candace out there, but I'm gonna play the intro here real quick.
Totally fun, totally awesome, totally trivia. With Dana and Candace, it's totally mind bending, totally unending, totally trivia.
I still can't get over that intro. I love that. Being the big Frank Sinatra fan, I love it.
Hold on just a second here, folks.
She's disappeared.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to like. Oh, okay. I know what I gotta do. There we go. Just I messed myself up there. So hopefully you can see me and Candace again. If you can't, let me know, and I'll try to fix it. All right. So Candace, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go
You
first?
can go. I think I went first last time. I'll let you go
I
first this
can't
time.
even remember.
I can't either, but I think
My
I did.
brain is mush. All right. So this is a two-part question. So what opposites attract couple wrote and sang a simple love song that had everyone falling in love? The bonus is what was the actual song. So the opposites attract couple is the first part of it, and then the song is the second part.
So opposites attract, just meaning that they're not made really. You wouldn't think. Is it Sonny and Cher?
You got that part right. Do you remember the
I, I've got you, babe.
exactly right?
Did I get it right?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God! Well, I
You
tried
awesome.
there.
You got it. Awesome. See, I haven't stumped you yet.
Okay, Dana. So, and I think this one is a pretty good one. I think you get this one. Pete Seeger wrote these lyrics to "Everything There Is a Season" in his 1959 song "Turn, Turn, Turn." But what band made this song famous in 1965?
The birds.
Yes. I figured you'd get that one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that song, big fan of
Yeah,
that
I am
band
too.
as well. Yeah.
That's actually from the Bible, those,
Yes, it is. I thought that's maybe what you were gonna ask. Where
Well, I
did
thought about it. I thought
yeah.
about it. I was like, "Well, I know she probably knows that too, so I'll just make it
So
a
me and
little harder."
Candace are 1 for 1 here. Let's see
Oh,
if we can
goodness.
keep
You're getting
going.
me nervous here, Dana.
Okay, so my second question is, what songwriting team made us think about the human condition and forced us to look at our inner selves with songs like The Sound of Silence?
Simon and Garfunkel.
There you go. See, these aren't too hard, are they, Candace?
No, I mean, so far, but I know you're gonna pull them out of there on me.
I don't know. These last three will probably be pretty easy.
Now this one here, you're gonna get this one, I know.
Mm.
What Bob Dylan song from 1962 is a nude Jenny and Forrest Gump covering in her famous bar scene?
Oh, I know this. I know this. I know
I
this.
know you know this.
Um, Blowing in the Wind.
Yep, you got it.
I just had to think, and then I was thinking of that. Yeah, because I love Bob Dylan. I don't want to miss a Bob Dylan one.
I said Dana will get that one too. I don't know what made me think of that one. I said I could ask her this. I
That's a
know she
good
knows
one.
it.
That's a good one, though. Okay, you're probably going to get this one real easy too, Candace. Okay, what music group had us rushing to surf those waves and having good vibrations?
The Beach Boys.
Yeah, that see, these aren't too hard.
Oh goodness. Okay, so what band released the song White Room in 1968?
Cream?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, was there somebody else that maybe did that one? But I could only think of Cream.
Let me ask you this: who is in Cream?
Well, I know Eric
That
Clapton and
that's who I was.
also Ginger Baker. I know Ginger
Yeah,
Baker's
yeah,
in
he
that
is.
group.
Eric Clapton. Yeah, that's who
Yeah.
I was. That's who
Eric
I was.
Clapton's the big one, though.
Yeah.
I guess the headliner. Okay. So this one's probably going to be pretty easy. I'll probably give it away in the question, but which female singer demanded respect?
Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you may know this one. If Dana don't get this one, I am reaching very deep. I'm
Okay.
talking about very deep down into the trenches of the 60s music. So if she don't get it, I don't blame her. So this one might be a little hard, but then again, it's Dana, so she'll probably get it.
I don't
So,
know.
what band coined the 1967 song "Incense and Peppermints"? I know
Strawberry alarm clock.
you got it.
Yeah. Well, that's just a song I've heard several times, and I remember that band has got a very unusual
They
name.
do. They do. I was going to get one, and you probably would have still got this one too. But I was going to do one about the 1910 Fruit Gum Company. I said that might be really pushing it. Do you know who they are? You ever heard of them? They
Yeah,
sing a
I've
song.
heard of them. I've heard of them.
I think their most famous song was called Simon Says. If you listen to it, you probably heard of them before. They're a really fun
Yeah, I think I
band.
have. Uh-huh.
I said that might be pushing it a little too far because maybe I wouldn't even get that one.
I like the strawberry alarm clock
I do
question,
too.
though.
I
That
do
was
too.
uh all right. So my last question is, what song by the Doors turned Jim Morrison into a teen idol overnight?
Oh my goodness.
That's probably my hardest question.
So to me, this is just a guessing game. So let me say, I'm gonna guess that it was "Hello, I Love You." If it's not
Close, but it's Light My Fire.
"Light My Fire," okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And I
I
think
wasn't for sure.
probably the reason why is because that was the song they did on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah, they did do that
And
one on
he
there.
was told that He couldn't say,
Higher.
"Baby, come on, baby, light my fire." Or we couldn't get much
Much
higher.
higher,
You know,
yeah.
and I think Ed Sullivan told them, y'all can't say higher on TV. And I don't know how close to the movie The Doors was, but since we're going to be talking about Val Kilmer anyway
Yeah.
before the show ends, when Val Kilmer did that, and he's like, "Baby, we can't get much higher," and he like gets right up in the camera, and I just die laughing every time I see that. It's like if Jim Morrison really did it that way, then that is just hilarious.
Yeah,
Um,
I love the Doors. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. To me, one of the greatest bands of all time. They're probably in my top 5 or 10 at least favorite bands of all time. I love the Doors, and I think Jim Morrison was really. I think there was a. I think Val Kilmer did amazing job,
yeah,
and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But I'll give you my last one, which is, I think you'll get it. But it may be a little bit rough. I don't know how much you know about the Monkees, but Davy Jones' first lead vocals on the Monkey single was on what song? And it's a Neil Diamond song. And it
Neil
was
Diamond.
and it was
Oh,
released in
shoot. When you said Neil Diamond,
mhm. And it was released in 1967.
come on, Dana, you know
You
this
got it.
song.
Just think
You
about
know,
it. Just think about it. Think about like the first album, 1967, Neil Diamond, which he wrote several for them, but
gosh, my brain it won't push it out there.
you got it. I know that you know it, Dana. I know you do. And whenever I say it, if you don't get it, I know that you'll know it.
I know it's just my brain just will not push it out, just like Fisher Stevens' name earlier. I'm singing it in my head. I, it's a little bit me, it's a little bit you. Is that
You
the
got it.
moment? Okay?
You
Because I
got
was
it.
sitting there humming the song.
I knew you'd get it if you just think about it. Think about it,
Mhm.
McFly.
Yeah, I
Oh,
had to imagine Neil Diamond singing it is what I was,
which he wrote several, but that's the first one that he, um, wrote that Davey did his first lead vocals on, and he sung Neil Diamond beautifully. I thought he fit
yeah,
Neil Diamond's style.
I think so too.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because I've listened to the Monkees version of it,
Yeah,
and I've
yeah,
also listened to Neil Diamond's version.
yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. So me and Candace did really, really well on this one. Um,
I think Dana won because she got all of them. But uh, if I would have went with my second choice, I probably I would have would have been a tie.
we would have
Uh,
tied, but
mhm.
you did very good. You got 4 out of 5 correct, Candace. So
There I go. At least it was better than I did last time.
I don't even remember how well or how not well I did last time.
I think you got all of them last time.
Did I? Oh,
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember. So I hope you guys and gals are enjoying this totally trivia. I know I am, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Candace is. So before Henley's probably chomping at the bit, we were going to do this taste test, but we're just going to talk for a couple of minutes about Val Kilmer. Uh, as many of you know, Val Kilmer recently passed away at the very young age of 65,
Yeah.
I believe,
It's a
which
shame.
to me is too young. That's absolutely too young. Um, that guy should have had a lot of years
Yeah.
left in him. It's
He's an
unfortunate.
amazing actor. Just an amazing actor. I loved Val Kilmer. Had the pleasure of meeting him, and it was beyond amazing. I grew up and one of my favorite films as a kid was Willow,
Uh-huh.
and I absolutely loved him as Madman Mardigan. And one of my favorite quotes was whenever he was, yelling at Willow, he was calling him a pig, you And whenever we were talking to Val Kilmer, um, he actually did that for me. He quoted it for me and was like acting like him and stuff, and it was real. I was like, he's sitting here doing this for me. This is, of course, a few years before he
Right.
got sick and had I think it was throat cancer that he had.
I believe so, yeah.
So it was before that. One thing that I will tell you, whenever I met him, I noticed he had a hat on, and there's like, yeah, he wears a hat, everywhere, and he was really nice. I liked meeting him, and it was a highlight definitely of people that I've met.
Mhm.
So, but
I wish I had gotten to meet him, but I
mm,
never got the opportunity to meet him.
I was actually pregnant when I met him, and I don't know how good you can see
Oh,
that.
that's awesome.
I'm trying to get it up there where you can see it, but uh,
That's a really good picture of you and Chris and Val Kilmer.
yeah,
That's
I was very pregnant, I believe. It was at a Comic-Con that we met him,
Oh, okay.
and he was really, really nice. I enjoyed meeting him. I love him in Tombstone. I remember he was one of my first crushes. Like as a kid, seeing him in Tombstone, I was like he's just so attractive.
Uh, I I've seen Tombstone, and I think Tombstone is one of my dad's favorite
Hmm.
more modern westerns. I mean, my dad's a Clint Eastwood. He's a Clint Eastwood guy more than he is a John Wayne guy, but he's
Hmm.
as far as old school guys, he would watch Clint Eastwood, in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That was a western that me and Dad watched. I know we're
Yeah.
not specifically talking about westerns, but that was one that me and my dad enjoyed together. But hey, Menelect, Chris says September 2012 was when you guys.
Okay. Yeah, it was right before because I had Noah in January of 2013. So I was quite a month into my pregnancy, and I remember going, and it was right before I couldn't go anymore. Cause thankfully it wasn't like in October. I forget whenever Jamie Lee Curtis came to horror him because I
Was that
couldn't go.
was it 2010 when Jamie Lee Curtis was it?
No, it was 2012 because I was pregnant and I had to be put on bed rest, and I couldn't go because it was right after
I guess my brain is fried because I know we were there. Me and Steve were there. So
November 2012 because it was right after this, and I
okay,
couldn't go, and I was so mad because I wanted to meet Jamie Lee Curtis and I couldn't.
I bet, yeah, that's right because you weren't there for
Mm-mm.
that, which is a shame. But I mean, it was a happy reason why you couldn't go. But I can understand your
Yeah,
frustration. Uh, Chris says we was married a month earlier.
we were, and I think Madman Mardigan's definitely one of my favorite characters that he does. I love him though. I have this little special place in my heart, probably like Dana,
Mm.
as his Jim Morrison. I think he absolutely killed that portrayal of Jim Morrison. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, he embodied Jim Morrison in The Doors. The Doors is probably my favorite movie that he's in. But even though he plays a kind of jackassy character in Top Gun, I
yeah,
also like watching him work in
is
Top
his name
Gun.
Goose?
Now I think Goose
Goose.
is.
I've never seen Top Gun. My mom
I
loves
want to
Top Gun.
say Goose is Anthony Edwards' character,
Yeah,
Tom
that's right.
Cruise's
Yeah.
friend. Yeah.
I've
Uh,
I've seen my mom watch it, but I've never sit down and watched it myself. I don't like Tom Cruise very much, so
Oh, well, thank you, Menelect. I'm going to put Jeepers Creepers from 2001. Thank you for that super chat. Let me make sure I mark that down. Speaking of the movie Roulette, the Dead Pit Boys,
Iceman. Yeah.
the
Sorry.
Dead Pit Boys actually gave me, they each gave $5. And CK wants me to do Into the Pit. He wants me to watch that, and but that's not the. I mean, that's the easy one to watch. Uncle Bill wants me to watch Necromantic too, so he gave $5. Now I got to watch Necromantic.
Oh gosh.
So I'm actually going to put Jeepers Creepers down so I don't forget that I ain't seen Jeepers Creepers for a while, so it'll probably be good to go back and rewatch that again.
I
But
really love Justin Long. I think I always like
I
Justin
can't
Long.
stand Justin Long. I despise him.
Seriously?
Yes, I
I
do.
know this is the God's honest truth. That was one of the nicest people that I've ever met.
No, I'm not saying he may be a nice
I
person
love
to
him.
me, but in movies, I don't
Really.
like it.
I
Mm-mm.
love him. I always had a crush on him.
That's what?
No, I love Justin Long. I thought that I always thought he was cute.
I don't know. He annoys me somehow, but
Really.
as a person, he might
He's
be
very
just a
nice.
fantastic person.
I
Just
remember whenever I went
along
to
as
meet him,
well.
he's like, "You from Hazard, Kentucky?" He said, I love your I love that accent.
I
Yeah,
know
he's
the
sweet.
first time I met Kane Hodder, he loved my accent. He kept wanting me
Yeah.
to repeat my name over and over again so he could hear the accent. Um, well, I'm sure Justin Long is an awesome person. I'm just saying, as an actor,
That's what I think he's saying, that he's awesome as an actor.
well, I don't know. Maybe when I go back and watch Jeepers Creepers again, maybe I'll change my mind.
I love him. Which I have, I try not to watch as much as I used to anymore. I won't get to that. But anyway, I think he does good in that. I think that he portrays that character well, I think. But everybody is entitled to their opinions, I
Right.
guess.
And maybe he'll grow on me. There have been people that have super annoyed me in movies, and then you
Oh,
give me a little while, and I'm like, oh,
well,
they're not so bad. You
I
know,
have people like that you're probably like, "What? You don't like them?" So, yeah, I know where you're coming from.
who was
Uh,
it that you said that you just could not stand in something?
oh,
And I,
I have a lot, and I'm sure people are like, "What?" Just like how we're like, "What?" to you. Um,
it's okay. This is what makes the world go around. People have, different opinions on
oh,
things.
there's plenty of people that I can't stand. Right off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody, but there's plenty of them. And Chris gets mad at me sometimes because he's like, "What?" He's like, "Just did that." He's like, "What? What? You don't like them?"
Chris has probably never heard me say that about Justin Long. I probably just didn't know
No, I didn't know
and
that you
you
didn't
didn't
like
either.
him. Mm-mm.
Um,
No.
but I think I can honestly say, even though Val Kilmer is fantastic in a lot of stuff, I still think his portrayal of Jim Morrison in the Doors movie is my ultimate
Yeah.
all time favorite.
I think I pretty yeah, I agree with you on that. I think. Just because he played it, so I think it's like method, like he really got into it. It's like when Jim Carrey portrayed Andy Kaufman.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean, it's they don't have to look exactly like them,
Hmm.
but it's like you're watching them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Because
and like here's another example. This is not a Val Kilmer example, but that Rami Malek,
mhm,
who played Freddie
exactly.
Mercury in Bohemian
Mhm.
Rhapsody. I mean, he was the embodiment of
He
Freddie Mercury
was, and he
out
looked
that
nothing
movie.
like him,
No,
but
but he could.
he
I
was
don't know.
amazing.
It
Mhm.
was still very amazing.
Oh, he did fantastic. We went to the movies and watched that, and that was one of the greatest, like,
I made Steve
experiences.
take me to the movies to see that.
Yeah, it was just like we were at a Queen the whole audience was just, like, cheering and going along. He did really great as that portrayal, and that's what, Val Kilmer did, and I think when people think of The Doors and they think of the movie The Doors, I think because if it had been somebody else, I don't think that movie would have been as successful.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think anybody else could have portrayed Jim Morrison the way that he did. And I've watched like interviews with him, and I've watched like behind the scenes. I've watched him singing like the actual, and it's like he became. I think he said that he got so deep into that role that
Mhm.
it took him months to, like, I think if I'm mistaken, I could be mistaken, but he had to, like, go. I don't know if it was therapy or what it was, but he had to get himself out of that because he became Jim Morrison. He was living as Jim Morrison, and that's something that's dedication to
Yeah,
a character.
of course, it's probably good that he got out of that because he could have went down some deep
Yeah,
dark
definitely.
hole.
Yeah.
Because I think Jim Morrison was a genius, but
Mhm.
as with a lot of geniuses, a lot of really creative, talented people, I'm
Mhm.
not saying they all do this, but majority of them partake a little bit too much in drugs. They partake
Yes.
a little bit too much in alcohol.
Mhm.
They have mental illnesses, depression, anxiety, different things. They plague these kind of people. And I've read books that say the more creative a person is, the more demons basically
Yeah.
they're going to
Yeah.
have.
That's true.
Um,
And, was Jim Morrison part of the 27 Club? He was, wasn't he?
I think he was. I want to
And
say
Janis
he was.
Joplin, and I think he was 27 when he passed away. Pretty
Was
sure.
Jimi Hendrix in that too?
I believe so, yeah.
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 See, all these great people. I have the utmost respect for Janis Joplin too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love Janis Joplin.
I do too.
Janis Joplin was one tough lady, and she
Mhm.
didn't take nothing off of anybody. She was very. It could
Did
have turned some people off, but I just think she was great.
didn't Jim Morrison didn't she, like, knock him out with, like, a bottle of whiskey because he was, like, coming on to her?
It seems like she did. Like she just
She
like,
did.
all right, buddy, I take enough of you. You know,
Yeah, I think she did. Pretty sure.
she didn't put up with any crap from anybody. You know,
Yeah, I love it. The '60s is such a great '60s and
mhm,
'70s and stuff. It's such a great time for, like, music especially.
oh,
It was
definitely.
like, you went from being, like, this big band type stuff and everything straight
Mhm.
laced to people just letting loose. And I think over time people's let a little bit too loose, but that's just my opinion.
Unfortunately,
But, I just people like, "Why do you listen to that old stuff?" It's because it's refreshing. It's refreshing in this day and age to me. I don't know. It's something different that you don't hear. You don't hear that play. The stuff like that played on the radio anymore. Not
right.
like it used to be. And the Doors is without a doubt one of the greatest bands that ever existed. I love Led Zeppelin, but the Doors to me, they're probably my like third or fourth favorite band of all time. I love the Doors.
I
I
do
think
too.
Jim Morrison, he was the Lizard King, the American poet. He was
Oh
just
my gosh,
amazing.
I have, and I still have this book somewhere. I just have to dig it out from somewhere. I have this book of poetry that Jim Morrison wrote,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I absolutely adored that book whenever I first got it. And I wish I could find it now. That Lord knows where it's at now. Um, Chris says Candace's actual favorite musician is Scatman John.
No, it is not. No, it is not. Scatman John. Is
And
that the
Chris,
Zoobie Bop stuff?
it
Hey,
sounds like it would be.
if
I don't
you
know.
like Scatman John, that's fine, but
Chris also says, while it's not my favorite, I think his best portrayed role was Doc Holliday in Tombstone. I'm
oh,
not going to disagree with that.
no, he was great as Doc Holliday and very attractive. I don't know what it is about him, but I really like him as
I
Doc.
think it's Val Kilmer's eyes. I
Yeah.
notice a man's eyes before I notice anything else.
What is the movie that he plays in? Me and my mom watched that long, long time ago, where he is blind, or is it deaf? He's deaf, I think, and then he gets his hearing back, and he about goes crazy.
Mhm.
That is Val Kilmer, isn't it?
Chris, help us out here.
Let me see.
Chris is the answer man.
Well, he's blind. One.
Chris is saying you listen to it every day, like 10 times a day.
He's a lion. I do not. He does. I can't remember if he was deaf or if he was blind. It was one of them, and I cannot remember what it was called, but me and my mom watched it, and if she's watching this, she's probably shouting in there. Uh,
Genius, it's this.
uh, is it called At First Sight? Yeah,
That's
that's
familiar.
yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, that's it. It's called At First Sight, and it's from '99. It says a blind man has an operation to regain his sight at the urging of his girlfriend and must deal with the changes to his life. So he actually is blind and he gets surgery and he can see and it's just like too overwhelming for him. If you've
Mm.
never seen it, I watched it a long
I
time
have to
ago.
check that one out.
Probably shortly after it came out is when I watched it, so that's why I couldn't remember what it's called, but it was a good movie. He was like could not deal with being
Mhm.
able to see because he was like in his 20s or something whenever he got his sight back.
I was laughing, but it was not at what you were saying. Chris says she likes him more than Youngblood. She has a Scatman John shrine in the closet. She needs help.
Well, you shut. I am not Helga Pataki, first of all, from Hey Arnold, and I no, I don't have a Scatman John shrine in my closet.
Maybe Chris does. Maybe he's got one.
He probably does. Yeah. I never knew who Scatman John was until I met him, and he. Do you know who Scatman John is?
I have not heard of him.
He says, "Is that the guy that the skibbity bop bop bop? I'm a scat man or something." He scats, but not in the way that Jonathan Davis does. So
Uh,
of corn. So
well,
I
I
like.
wonder if now that we've talked about Val Kilmer and our memories, Chris says he's a legend. Um, does Henley still want to, or is he conked out on us?
I don't know. Let me go see if he is. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, come on.
I'm gonna go grab my taste test thing.
Oh,
I'll be right back.
okay. Let me stop the camera and I'll be right back.
Okay, so you got me for a little bit till Candice and Henley get back. So if anybody has any, Chris, you're mainly the person talking in here right now. If you got any questions for me or want to talk more about
Oh,
Scatman John, well,
I don't know
Candice
what
and
that
Henley
was a
back.
picture of, Dana, but it was okay. Henley, come up here. Oh,
What you got today, Henley?
what's your first thing you want to do? You want to do these first, or okay? He's wanting to show you his drink that he's got.
All
What
right.
kind of drink is it? You got to show it to him.
Strawberry Fanta.
Here,
Ooh, Fanta.
what you got? Tell him.
Strawberry Fanta.
Strawberry Fanta, he says.
All
Can you hear
right.
him when he talks?
Yeah,
Okay,
I can even hear him without the headset on, but he does
okay,
have a soft voice.
okay. Take a drink. Let's see what you think of it. What do you think about strawberry Fanta?
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10, he says.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Let's see what Dana's got. What's she got?
Well, actually, I'll be totally honest. I have tried these folks, but I'm going to try them on camera. These are the new honey bun donuts
Ooh.
from Hostess. So they're mini donuts. And I'll be honest, I didn't like these as much as I thought I was going to. I prefer the glazed ones, but I will taste one of these on camera for you guys. And they taste kind of like honey buns, but not exactly. I think that's why I don't like them as well as I thought I was going to. Um, they taste like a honey bun that somebody has put powdered sugar on. That's what I think they taste like.
Yeah, I think we had bought those before.
Yeah,
Is it a
Chris
re-release
says
or?
I wasn't a fan of the honey bun donuts. There's not much flavor. That too, they just the cake part of the donut is not very flavorful. And I got really excited when I first saw these because I was like, "Ooh, honey bun donuts! I'm gonna get those." And they couldn't get me the honey bun ones the first time I ordered them, and I got glazed ones instead. And I was like, "Ooh, these glazed ones are really good." And then when I did get the honey bun ones, I'm like, I was sort of let down a little bit. So I'd probably give these about 3 out of 5, probably. 2.5 to 3 out of 5.
Hmm.
Yeah, the glazed ones are much better. Oh, it says I like regular honey nut.
Oh yeah, that's the way to go. I
Oh,
like the ones with jelly in them.
strawberry shortcake. Chris was talking about the strawberry shortcake ones from Little Debbie.
Yeah, those are good.
The
I always like the.
hostess ones around Valentine's Day had some Valentine's Day ones. They were good too.
I always like the ones with the like coconut on them.
See, you've probably heard me say this. I like the taste of coconut. I don't like the texture of
I
flake.
don't either. I don't either. But if I do eat it, I do like. That's why I don't buy them very often because I don't like. It gets caught in my throat. I don't like it. Uh, but he's got one more thing he's wanting to taste test, Dana.
All
It's the
right.
butter beer from Harry Potter. The butter beer kisses.
Oh wow, yeah, I haven't tried those.
He's gonna he's gonna taste test these peelers.
Mm-hmm.
It's the lychee. We love lychee. I don't know, or lychee, however. So
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna do that. Chris.
Tis, don't like coconut or just alone.
He's gonna try those, and I'm gonna try the little Harry Potter kisses.
All right, cool.
And they're butterscotch. So if you never watched Harry Potter, don't know what butterbeer is, it's basically like a butterscotch soda.
Mm-hmm.
So they're little butterscotch kisses,
Oh, neat.
and then inside of them is like a little butterscotch like cream. So
That sounds
they're
good.
they're very good.
There's some white stuff.
Show them. He's got blue dye underneath his fingernails. He's been eating those Takis. They're the peelers. So
This is what it looks like with
mm,
no.
Oh, I see.
yeah,
Yeah.
you peel it. You peel it like this. We've tried almost every flavor. They got banana.
And then we can also eat this.
It's very sticky though if you do that. So, but they're good. Now you try one of them.
This is what the wrapper looks like.
Yeah, they got different
Yeah,
little
I like those.
like a little beer. Let's see if I can show
Mm-hmm.
you like little beer bottles or foamy beer mugs.
Can't you get the butter beer? Can't you get that at Disney World?
Mhm.
Okay.
No,
Or or is that someplace
Universal.
Universal? Okay.
Mhm.
Because I when I worked for the library system, I worked with a guy that every year him and his wife and his son would go down to Florida, and
Yeah,
I remember him talking about the butter beer.
they sell it at the Wizard World of Harry Potter. What do you think about those,
Like them?
Dana? Even if you are not a Harry Potter fan or have never seen Harry Potter, if you like butterscotch, these are the
I
best.
love butterscotch. I'll have to try
These are
those.
the best, and they also got the butterbeer goldfish,
Hmm.
and then they got the butterbeer cookies. We got them in there. They're like the fudge stripes, but they're
Uh-huh.
the butterbeer ones, and they all taste
Oh.
like butterscotch. So even if you're not a fan or whatever of Harry Potter, if you like butterscotch, it's the best. Those cookies are so good. I don't even eat a lot of sweets or anything, but I love those.
What did Uncle Chris say?
What did Uncle Chris say? He said he liked the strawberry shortcake ones from Little Debbie. So, are you going to tell Dana what you think about this?
I like these the most.
He likes those the most, the little
Uh,
lychee or lychee, whatever.
what Henley? What rating do you give those?
What rating, she says, do you give them?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, he
Oh,
said.
all right.
And for the Harry Potter stuff,
What do you give those?
I'll give them
Here.
a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, he says.
All right. That's pretty good.
So, when me and Henley get off of here, we're going to go and help Mama a little bit in her room, and we're going to tell her we're going to go to Walmart and get stuff to decorate our Easter cake.
Ooh, that
Yeah.
sounds good. That sounds good.
And
So,
we're making big old giant cookie pizzas.
ooh, man, I wish I was at your house.
Tell her what's gonna be on it. Say cream cheese icing with
Strawberry,
strawberries and blackberries and
blue-
peaches and
blueberry,
Dana would have to take some extra insulin there.
and
yeah.
raspberries.
You'll have to do that, Dana. But I've had fun. I've had fun today.
I've had fun, and we did go over 2 hours, and I told
It
Candace,
always does. It don't matter. It's me mostly that causes it to go over.
no, I mean, I was talking too, but Chris had us in stitches on here today, and Henley, wowed us with his presence. I always like seeing Henley on here, and it was fun to do another taste test with.
Oh yeah, we love doing those, don't we?
We'll have to do a planned one where hopefully I don't forget, and I'll have more stuff to actually try out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love these.
Oh, he loves those. He's found something he likes. Why don't you take them in there? Tell Dana bye and everybody bye.
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 See
Take them
you
in
later,
there.
Henley.
Dana, I've loved doing
I
this
think
today.
my second favorite was the
His second favorite was this, he
Was
said.
the Fanta?
Fanta.
Yeah, Fanta. He's a taste test connoisseur when it
Yeah, he
comes
definitely is.
he
So
loves doing it.
I want to thank, first of all, Candace and Henley, in case he sees this later, for being my lovely and handsome co-host. I don't want to call Henley a lovely co-host. My lovely and handsome co-host today for this Friday Foolish. I've had a lot of fun. I know Candace had a lot of fun. Henley had fun coming in there at the end with us. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Chris, it was good to see you in here as always. The poet, Menelect. I enjoyed seeing all of you guys in here. For those of you that maybe didn't feel comfortable getting in the chat, but you were watching, I thank you as well. Those of you that will watch this on the replay, Candace and I thank y'all as
Yep.
well. And stay tuned for our next edition of Friday Foolish, which hopefully will be next Friday. We'll see. Life happens. That's what I said at the beginning of this. So sometimes Candace can't, sometimes I can't,
Yeah.
but Candace has told me before, you could do Friday Foolish without me. I was like, no, Friday Foolish is me and Candace. That's what it is. And I would never dream of doing this show without her.
Well, I
It
appreciate
just
that.
just doesn't seem right to do it without Candace. So we're going to get off of here for this time around. And me and Candace are off like a couple of dirty shirts. Our shirts ain't dirty, but we're off like a couple of them. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before we get off of here for the evening, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Friday, folks. And let's make this weekend great. Do something fun. Try to get your family together and do something with the family. Because, none of us know how much time we got here on this planet. And
It's true.
we don't know when I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad or anything, but we don't know when the last time we're going to see somebody is. So just make the most of this weekend and make the most of future weekends together. We got Easter coming up at the end of the month. So please, share time with family and friends. Don't be angry with your family and friends. I was talking to my mom today, and she might say, Dana, don't bring this up on the show. But she was telling me about one of my aunts. I'm not going to say her name just in case somebody ever wants to see this. But she is very upset with her son right now and will not even talk to her son over political stuff.
Oh
I have
no.
a difference of opinion over our current president. I'll just say that. And I just want to impress upon everybody that's in here now that watches this later, please, folks, don't let things like politics and even religion. Religion's important. I understand that. As a believer, I think it's very important.
Yeah.
Candace does. Well, we think God's important. Maybe
Yeah.
not religion so much, but God is important in our
Yeah.
life. But please don't let things like that get in the way of being with your family and talking with
Yeah,
your family.
definitely. It's not worth it in the end.
Mm-mm. So I just wanted to leave you with that thought. Not trying to browbeat you or beat you over the head with anything.
Mhm.
Just little reminder, little friendly reminder about those things. And we are out of here. Y'all have a great rest of your evening, and we'll hopefully be around to share next Friday with you. And we'll have to come up with some topic, or maybe we'll just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Those are fun too. So we'll see what we can come up with. But anyway, folks, we'll catch you later.
See ya.